weird before. And I'm going to check on here.
Well, you're weird and you're on.
I'm weird. What more could you ask for?
Weird Jess is back.
I'm here.
And I'm back. I wasn't here last week.
Well, nobody was here last week.
No, but you did it by yourself somewhere.
No, I didn't.
You did something. Yeah, you did
happened.
something.
Yes. Sorry. You can't hear me because I don't have a mic on.
But they could probably hear it through mine.
They can hear everything. I'm not quiet. Okay.
I'm not saying anything.
No, you're not because you're smart. Okay. I can hear myself, and
Can you
there's
hear
all my
me?
chins. Yes, I can see you, hear you, both.
I hope you can see me.
I can see you really well.
Oh, can you?
Good morning, everybody.
Hi, Sherry. Diana, Marlene.
Hi, good morning. Before
coming.
we get started, it is raining in Schenectady. So far, everything seems fine with the Wi-Fi. Barb can see what you guys see on the laptop. So if for any reason we happen to lose you because the Wi-Fi gets weird, do not leave. I will come back. If it's fuzzy, there's not much I can do about it. Please be patient. It's raining and our Wi-Fi sometimes is not great, but we're hooked up on a different Wi-Fi, and hopefully this will be our answer. But every time I think I have the answer, it changes. So
That's true.
right? Every time we're like, no, this is going to be
This
this.
is
It's
gonna
not.
work.
And then it doesn't. So anyway, good morning. Yeah. I think that's it on the
Okay,
Wi-Fi.
we're done.
All right.
Nice
Thank
seeing
you.
you.
I'll see you guys next Friday. So that was just the first thing I wanted to let you know. I was doing some practice videos. I have a fake page. I know I'm not going to tell you what it is because it's pretend, and it's where I can practice on Facebook Live to make sure everything looks good. Everything looked great on that end. It looked great on the
It
laptop.
says it looks really nice now.
And then it stopped working for no reason, and I looked and the app had closed. So if that happens, which I really hope it doesn't, because I don't know why that happened. If it happened, stay there. We will reset it and we'll come back. So it's day 15 of the 30 days. We're halfway done, so let's do that first.
Oh, shoot.
You get to do that.
I get to pick.
Barb gets to pick.
All
'cause it's
right.
Friday. Here's
And
your name.
you know I never like to do one. I don't care what she says.
Do you see how it doesn't? Nothing changes.
Nah.
2 weeks.
Nah.
We haven't been here in 2 weeks and nothing changes.
I think I decided to pick 3 today, Jess.
Oh, well, I guess that's how it is, because I don't have a say. Today is the 16th, but it is the 15th day, and even though it wasn't a proper video, I'm counting last week's mini shop tour at Log Cabin as one of our videos. So this is our 24th video.
Oh my God.
24th. I know.
Wow.
Are you picking names? Can I start
I'm
reading
picking
them?
names.
Kelly Crampton. Kelly Crampton, number 1. Ooh, Pat Burgess, number 2. And Connie Isaac. Okay, what did these lovely ladies win today,
Let
Miss
me
Barb?
fiddle around in here in this bag since she still hasn't gotten a bigger bag to shake them. But
I sure haven't. And we're halfway through. Do you think I'm going to?
no.
Penny
guess if I wanna
suggested
do it-
that I write down which one was names, and I was like, no, I don't like to make things easier on myself. 3 yards of zipper. So congratulations to Kelly, Pat, and Connie. You each won 3 yards of zipper. Yes, you may pick 3 different yards if you want 3 1-yard cuts, if you want 3 yards, whatever you would like. I will send you your email and post the winners in case they're not watching when we're done. So about an hour or so. Do you see any of them? Are any of them watching? They might be. They might not
It might
be.
not be.
That's okay. So I'm going to hold those. I'm going to hold those right here. Okay, so 30 days is all done. I wrote down group, but I didn't see how many people are in it.
Oh.
Could you check for me?
Let me check, because I did check yesterday.
I'm very distracted right now. So anyway,
else is new?
please, as I always ask you, like and follow the page so that you get notifications. And also my YouTube page, I am planning some more videos. So if you like me on YouTube, you like the channel, and click the notification bell, you'll also get notifications when I upload. So if you wouldn't mind doing that. And how many people do we have?
549.
549. I don't know why I'm writing it down because I just told you, but there. 549. That's awesome. Remember when we were just a small group of like 20?
Good
So
night.
thank you. And just a quick reminder, again, And I remind all of you guys, even though most of you watching already know this, it's the people that don't watch the videos, please only post So Many Creations pattern related posts. I understand that we do sell a lot of products. I love when you are excited to get about your cork and your zippers and your fabrics, and I love your enthusiasm for other designers, but I can't support everybody. So on that page only, on that group, please only post my patterns. If you post a pattern, if you just post about, you know, getting stuff in the mail, like, I don't know, Sue Smith did, that's fine.
Yeah.
And Sue posted in the group, and I'm going to answer your question for
That's
you.
what she posted.
Sue posted, I received my teal envelope delivery yesterday. Second month in a row that the 3 pieces of cork seem to coordinate with each other. Jessica Vandenberg, are you making your choices with that in mind, or is it a coincidence? Yes, absolutely. So what happens, just so that you know, and I'm not going to tell you what I sent you because we're keeping it a secret. Remember, we want everybody to be surprised. I did send you a teal envelope because, well, that's a long story. We had to get multiple colored envelopes, and I thought, why not send something fun?
My favorite color.
It's Barb's favorite color. We also have another color. I don't remember what it is. But, you know, people are out of things. So when I pick them, I like to pick things that I can give you a variety. So like, I don't want to just pick 3 colors. I want to, you know, mix in metallics or a print and give you like a little variety. And when I do that, the way I figure it is this. Some of you are adding this to your stash and just playing with it. Some of you are new to cork and you're building a stash. Some of you want to take those 3 pieces because you're so excited to make something. So if they happen to coordinate, why not? So these pieces, again, they do coordinate. You don't have to use them together, but I tried to, you know, there's a little bit of a theme. It's a little theme. I'm not going to say anything more than that, but when you open it up, knowing me, you will understand what I mean. So I've just tried to, you know, pick some fun things. Speaking of Cork Club, I don't know why I say things because then it makes me more anxious. My friend from Kentucky, who's a graphic designer, has been working with me for a while now on a new design, a design that is just for me, that you will not see anywhere else, that was designed based on my needs. And it is with the cork people. They are working on getting a sample, and I am hoping, so all of you cross your fingers as hard as you can, and send good thoughts to Portugal. I am hoping that for the November Cork Club, that you will get something exclusive and brand new before anybody else gets it. If the timing works out right, it could happen. And if I get it in earlier, I might get too excited, and we'll see how it goes. But I'm very, very excited.
Will.
I'm very excited. So if you're listening in Portugal, have it come in around, like, I don't know, the 10th or 11th of November. We'll get it cut and we'll send it out. That would be great. So I've never made anything exclusive like that. So I'm super excited because it's just mine.
It's not Halloween, is it?
No. No, it is not Halloween, even though that is my love. And by the way, for any of my other fellow weirdos, if you can name the characters or movies that my shirt is from today, I'll email you a free pattern. I want to see if any of you are weird like me. There's 5 of them. So let's see. Barb's looking. She has no idea.
I have no idea, but Laura already said, look at your t-shirt, it's cool. So.
Thank you. I bought it on Etsy. And Chris, if you're watching, Chris was very sweet and made me a shirt that I think I'm going to wear for tomorrow's video, because I wore a t-shirt today because I always get hot here, and I was afraid. She made me a long sleeve shirt. So Chris, thank you. I'm very excited. And she knows me too well. Just from meeting me and watching my videos, you'll see it and you'll like it. So I'm going to try to wear that tomorrow. So that was that. Before we get into our business, I just want to take a personal moment just very quickly. All of you probably saw by now that I put up a post on Monday that we lost Sam. He was our oldest dog, and I appreciate all of the messages and the emails and the comments. You guys are so sweet to me, and somebody had commented, you know, do you feel all the love and surrounding you? And I do. I felt all of your hugs virtually. I cried at a lot of your comments. I understood. I know a lot of you understand how I feel. For any of you that aren't pet people and don't know why it's so hard, you know, it's just a dog. Let me just tell you why this one was so difficult. It's always hard to lose anybody, but Sam was in our lives for 14 years. We've had him since he was a baby. I think he was all of 10 or 11 weeks old when we brought him home. He was 2 pounds, and a Chihuahua puppy is about 90% head. They have these giant heads and these tiny little bodies and little legs. He had many scares with death. That dog was more like a cat than any dog I ever had. He had more than 9 lives. There were several times that he went to the emergency vet. He was a disaster, to put it briefly, but he was ours. He had a heart condition. He had a bad leg. He had barely any eyesight by the time he left. And he was we call him our wedding present from my grandfather, because that's what my grandfather used to say, because my grandfather actually owned him first. He brought him home and then realized he couldn't take care of a tiny dog at 80 years old and gave him to us, and we were not expecting that. We already had 2 dogs. So we raised this little teeny tiny thing. We had a lot of rough moments with him, but he was our boy, and he's the last of our original tribe. He's the last of our original dogs that my husband and I had when we first lived together before we were married. So, excuse me, it's been a very rough week, but we know that it's better off. So thank you for all of your wishes and kindness. And just thank you in general, whether you have watched our videos and supported us, made nice comments, joined the group, placed an order. It all is the support that we need, that Barb needs. You know, I need her here. I need Marlene here. It's the reason that I was able to bring them back 2 days a week. It's the reason that I can keep doing this. And I am asking for your continued support, because I have some bummer news that you may or may not have heard. I've gotten some notifications the past couple of weeks. It looks like, at a minimum, I will not be leaving until at least June, if not later, of next year. And I don't have high hopes for that either. So in case you didn't know, this is the bummer part of our conversation, and then we'll get back into good stuff. I got notification in the past week and a half from Road to California. They have officially postponed their show until 22. What year is it? Till 2022. So I will not be going there in January, which I think I alluded to in one of the videos, but now I know for certain I am not going to California, which means I will not be in Phoenix. All of the AQS shows.
Has that been canceled yet,
Phoenix? It hasn't been officially canceled, but I don't know why it wouldn't be. And also, even if it wasn't, I'm not going to drive to Arizona for a show and back. It kind of work together with California. I highly doubt that they're going to have it. I don't foresee any shows happening before the summer at the earliest. AQS sent out an email, so you may already know that as well. They canceled their entire year, so there's no Daytona Beach, no Paducah, Branson, which I was looking forward to Branson because I've never been. It's the first year there, but that's okay. It'll be our first year the next year, and we'll all go. We'll all go together. We'll have a meetup in Branson, Missouri, because it's in the middle of the country, right? Yeah, I'm geographically challenged. It's not East or West Coast. I know that.
It's amazing you make it across the country.
It's amazing. GPS. There are moments where I amaze myself. MQX has been canceled and is closing the doors. They say permanently. Things can always change, but that is what we've been told. And one of the other, I call it a local show, one of our New York Guild shows has been canceled. So I'm not going anywhere, which means you keep getting me every Friday.
We have no...
You have no reprieve. You'll have no peace from me. Listen, I don't come in on Monday, so you guys can talk about me.
We miss you.
So I will not be traveling. If shows are canceled, then I can guarantee guilds will continue with their Zoom meetings. Maybe I'll see you on a Zoom meeting. I won't be going anywhere. I'm guessing there won't be any classes. So give me topics. If you have information that you want me to put out there, if you want stuff that you want me to talk about, even if I've talked about it before and you want me to touch on it again, tell me. Things change. That's kind of part of the reason why we're having a thread talk, because I have opinions and I still stand by them, but I've also changed them and added new opinions. So if you have stuff you want me to talk about, let me know. Judy had emailed me and asked me if I could talk about the strap keepers and the ends and some of that hardware. We did that way early in the summer, but we're going to talk about it again because we are using them and I have a new sample. We've been selling a lot of them. So we're going to touch base on that again because I actually changed one of the techniques that I used. Diana McCrae, I posted a tip that she uses to make the holes for the screws. So there's always new information. So we're going to touch base on that probably next week. So Judy, if you're watching, I did get your email. I don't remember if I wrote you back. I'm sorry. Between losing power, losing a dog, and losing my mind, I have no idea what's happened in the last 2 weeks, but I'm doing the best that I can. Let's see here.
They want to do a meetup in Branson
I think, wouldn't that be awesome?
And Laura wants me to do a road trip.
Okay, all of you, send your positive COVID vibes so that in 2022 we could all
That's
meet
right.
up in Branson. We could take a booth photo. We could hang out. We can meet in person.
We could do-
'Cause
we
some
can
of you,
photobomb your-
I still don't know your faces, and I want to see your faces. And hopefully by that point I can give you a hug too, because I'm a hugger. So let's cross our fingers. But in the meantime, you have me on videos. It means I can keep making YouTube videos. And as one more reminder, we are still open here. I'm still open by appointment only. I don't have set hours, but I am still here. Katie had messaged me and asked if I still was. She set up an appointment. She's driving all the way from Connecticut to come see us. But, and I've met Katie in person, and Katie I always associate with Maine, even though that is not where she lives. Her mom lives in Maine. So I have my reasons. But if you're local-ish, or if you're willing to take a little bit of a drive, I'm sorry, a piece of hair in my mouth. We are still open by appointment only. I am not closing the shop down because what's in here goes in a van and travels across the country, and I'm not leaving. So we are open. And if I can't for some reason be here, I'm sure we can make Barb and Marlene do it, and they're pretty entertaining. We're going to get Marlene in one of these videos because you all need to meet her. So let's see here. Quickly, and this kind of relates to you because I just wanted, just in a good way. I showed you guys the other day on my page, and I also, if you follow the Log Cabin page, we were talking about the quilts we were working on. I have not made a quilt in a long time. I've been kind of enjoying the slow process. I've been not rushing it. If you are making quilts and planning on Christmas projects, remember your long arm quilters have deadlines, and it is the middle of October. Now, I'm not asking you to do anything for Christmas. It's for me. Barb's like, whoo! But if you are working with a long arm quilter, check with them now, because like, what's your cutoff time?
October 25th.
So 10 days if you need to get something to Barb, or if you need to get something to your quilter. It was just one of those things I thought about today, and I was like, don't wait until November. And also maybe start your Christmas shopping early, because we all know that shipping has been interesting.
Sporadic.
That's all we're going to say. But the post office, they're doing well. Give them a break. That's it. I talked about that. Don't forget, Handmade Holiday. We still have time. The ship date is not until November 30th, but I'm just checking in. Have you started? I see a lot of you have been ordering stuff. What is happening?
Have I started?
Well, Barb's partner, she hasn't started yet.
November 29th, maybe?
I haven't either, but it's okay. No, but if you need things, sooner rather than later is always better. And don't forget to post some little, sneak peeks. Somebody, I don't remember who posted it, like a week or so ago, said, do you guys like making matching masks to your bag? And everybody kind of commented. And that's a general question. Throw that out there. Put stuff out there and say, hey, partner, I'm deciding between navy and royal blue. Which one do you like? Just keep it a surprise, but ask for, some opinions. Your partner might comment and give you some information.
I don't know if you want to do this on here. She wants my contact info. Sure. We can always respond.
Go ahead and give her your contact info. Okay. Yeah, give her your info. You can have Barb's info. You can call her anytime you want. Her phone number is no. I don't know it off the top of my head, so I couldn't tell you anyway. The last magazine.
No, everybody's going to have it.
If you want it, it's in the comments. The last Quilt and More magazine. Would it be winter? It would be, yes, winter. I'm always confused because it comes out in October. It will be coming out in about 2 weeks. It's, I think, on stands either the 30th or the 31st. I finally was able to get a hold of somebody over there, and I ordered them. So I'm going to have a small supply of magazines. So I'm going to put some kits out there, and the magazines will be included until we run out. So that's about that. I'm very excited because I have not been able to get a hold of anybody, and I asked to get some back issues too. So if you have missed any of the other 3 issues and want them, let me know and I'll hold one for you, and hopefully those will be in. I'm hoping they're in before they go on sale so that I can get them up on the website. That's that. And I'm not going to show you what I worked on until we start talking about thread, but I will put up a new kit if you guys are interested, and I'll tell you a little bit about what I did. So before we get into our thread talk, I think that was everything. I thought I was going to have so much more to tell you. We haven't gotten a lot of new stuff in this week, but I know we have a bunch of stuff on order that we're waiting for. So I wanted today's get to know you question to be kind of personal, and you don't have to share, obviously, you never do, but I always like when there's a story behind stuff. You guys know I like to tell stories. I like other people's stories. And Barb never knows what the question is, so she's always waiting to see what it is. This came up for a few reasons. My get to know me question is about middle names. And the reason is, I love when people have a story behind their middle name. Like my younger sister, her middle name is my grandmother's name. Did we lose everybody? Are we having problems?
No.
Oh, okay.
You went to the wrong person without your permission.
Don't mind Barb. Don't mind me.
Sorry.
Okay. So anyway, the reason I was reminded of this topic, a family friend passed away a few weeks ago, and his grandchild was pregnant, and so when they had their baby girl, they gave her his middle name. So her name is Olivia Jean, which sounds like a girl's name, but spelled Gene. So to anybody hearing her name, they would just assume, oh, Olivia Jean. Yeah. They don't realize that Jean is actually Jean from her grandfather. And I thought that was super cute because, like, who would ever guess that that was your middle name if your initial was G, and who would ever know that? And it has a sweet story. I don't have a sweet story behind mine. I have a very funny story.
Uh-oh.
A lot of people know this because I've said it before, and a lot of people have no idea. My mom is an interesting woman, and I love her to pieces. And I have no idea how I named my sister, and she has my grandmother's middle name, and it's a beautiful name. And then there's me. My middle name is Lee, Leigh. But it's not just Lee. I was named after Janet Leigh from Psycho. So this
explains something.
Was in the womb. It happened. My mom is the reason that I love true crime and scary movies, and my mom gave me that middle name, and I think she basically stamped me with being a weirdo for the rest of my life, and I love it because it's a pretty name. It's spelled differently, but there is a meaning behind it. So if you have a middle name with a meaning, I love to hear it. If you're named after someone, or if it's a funny story, tell me. I love to hear it. Barb, I know what your middle name is, but I don't know if you have a funny story. It's Anne, isn't it?
Yes.
As in Bob. Sorry, the singing portion is done. Is there
it's a story? My mother's name.
It's your mother's name.
Mother's
See, I love that. I love when there's just more than just.
It sounded nice. Was my mother's sister's name.
See, full circle. And mine,
and Elizabeth is my confirmation name, which was my grandmother's name.
See that? I don't remember. No, I didn't make my confirmation. We just lied to my sister about it for a long time. I don't remember where my first name came from. My mom, if she's watching, might jump on and tell us.
Some crazy movie.
No, actually, I feel like it. I actually don't remember. She found it somewhere and liked it, but my grandmother tried to convince her to name me Vivica, which I just don't see myself as a Vivica because it was from a soap opera, and she thought it was a beautiful name. And I'm sure it is. There's Vivicas out there, but I don't look like a Vivica. No. So thank you, Mom, for intercepting on that one. I will live with Jessica. But yeah, my middle name is from Psycho. So that's it. That's why I'm bizarre. So these are my notes. I wrote these notes.
Oh, can I make a quick?
Yeah.
I just got a quick question.
Yes.
What was the first pattern in the Quilts and More magazine?
The first one was the
train case.
No, that was the second one. The first one was the crossbody. I am just all thumbs today. This was the first. This was the second. The backpack is the current one, and a tote bag is the last one.
Okay. You got Charlie, give
it to me.
You're funny.
Give it to me. Come on, I need to hear it.
My name is my grandfather's name reversed. My first name was his middle name and vice versa. But I spelled my middle name wrong for about 45 years until my husband pointed it out. Very observant, Charlie.
I'm sorry, that's amazing. Well, my stepfather's middle name is Joseph, but it's not spelled the way you think. It's not spelled Joseph. It's Joe. The E is in the wrong place. Well, what we say. We actually thought that my stepfather didn't know how to spell his own name, and we questioned him because, guys. And I was like, Mom, I think he's spelling his own name wrong. We were wrong. It's actually because he's Syrian. It's some kind of different spelling. But yeah, for a long time, we thought that he didn't know how to spell his own name. but he does. So I know he's not watching, but we make fun of him
And
about
I
it
hate to
anyway.
say it, but now I know why Marlene is the way she is.
Oh no.
Her middle name is Ann,
Okay.
and the only reason she's got it is because the Catholic Church wouldn't let her be baptized with the name Marlene. It had to have they had to stick a saint's name in there. So,
And now you know why we're all weird.
Yes.
Okay. So now that I've started another fun topic, I love when you guys, I love your feedback. It just cracks me up. Okay. So we're going to talk, look at that, 25 minutes.
Wow.
I know.
Nothing.
Okay. Nothing. A pure nothing. So we're going to talk about Thread today. And I wrote these notes, again, on graph paper because I like to torment myself and my
Oh my
eyeballs.
God.
Because I wrote this in the dark by candlelight during the power outage.
You could have come to my house. I had power.
I know, but if I came to your house, I would have nothing to complain about. So,
That's true.
and that was a fun few days. So, we're going to talk about Thread. And as I always say, I always like to preface my conversations. These are my opinions. These are my findings. You don't have to agree with me. And if I offend anybody, it is not intentionally. There are things that I like and things that I don't like. And I'm just going to be honest with you because I'm always honest with you. So please don't be mad. And well, I love that Thread. You are allowed to love anything that you want. I just don't love everything. So that is all. So let's start with why this all started. This Thread journey for me actually started many years ago because I never thought that Thread mattered. I literally was one of those people, and maybe some of you also don't. I don't know if Barb ever felt this way. I learned to sew when I was a child, and my grandmother, she was a wonderful person, but we didn't really talk about using high quality supplies and thread, and we didn't talk about cleaning your machine. You changed the needle when it broke. You didn't clean the bobbin case. I can only imagine what is in that bobbin case, because I don't remember her ever cleaning it or talking about it. So Thread was never brought up. And when I got her sewing table, when she was still around, she just gave it to me. There was old thread in there, and she was like, of course you can use it. Why not use old thread? Because I don't think she ever realized that it would dry out and that you don't want to use old thread and that there's different qualities. Things were also a lot different in the 60s, 70s, 80s. We didn't have all those options. Now we're very spoiled with all the things that we have, so we don't have to just settle. And so I didn't think thread mattered. I just thought the cheapest I could get, the better, because who sees it? It's just thread. It doesn't make a difference. And so I bought whatever was on sale. I didn't really care. I built up a thread collection of Coats & Clark. And I apologize if you like Coats & Clark. I did for a long time. I could say I never had a problem. It was great. I am seeing years later why it's not a good thread. I'm seeing years later why things are not holding up as well. And so I didn't think thread mattered. Somebody who worked at a quilt shop got in Aurifil. I don't remember when Aurifil came about, but it was,
I don't know.
I want to say, well, I've been quilting since 2005. So somewhere in the last 15 years, Aurifil came to us in the United States. I don't know if they existed in Italy before this, but this thread company, and she gave me a little spool of thread like this and said, have you ever tried Aurifil? You should try it. And I was like, well, that's expensive, and it's just thread. What difference is thread going to make? What difference could it possibly make? And I went home and I tried it, and I went, oh, okay, I understand now. The same reaction I had when I used a walking foot for the first time and realized that it really does matter. So thread makes a huge difference. And knowing a little bit about thread and finding the ones that you like, that's what's going to make a difference to your projects. We talk about this a lot. I don't want my bags to look homemade. I want them to look like a boutique bag. I want someone to go, where did you buy that? Not, oh, you made that. I want the wow reaction when I say I made it. Like, how? How could you have possibly made that? That's what I want. And so when I found Aurifil, I really never went back after that to anything else. I threw out a lot of that Coats & Clark. And here's the issue. Cheap thread is cheap. It's cheap price-wise, so I understand the appeal, but it's not good in your machine, and it's not good for a duration. It's made cheaply to keep the price down. And so the issue that I have with threads like that and some of these unknown companies and some of these mass-produced, that you find in random websites and Amazon, is that what happens is you end up getting a lot of jamming and breaking in your machine because the cheap thread, there's a lot of lint. Where do you think that lint comes from? It comes from the thread itself. So it's making a thinner product that's going to end up in your project. So you start with this thread that looks pretty good, feels pretty strong, and then all this lint is coming out and the thread is slowly thinning out. And by the time you're putting it in your project, there's not a lot left there. So you're getting a super, super thin thread, which we don't want. We don't want a fine thread in a bag that we're going to use every day. So I've noticed that from using Aurifil, I hardly have any lint. I get lint because I sew a lot, but I don't get a lot of lint because of the thread. It's more of a buildup over time from sewing. I don't see those gobs of lint everywhere. I will say, I am not a long armer, Barb is, and I know that you have not loved Aurifil on your long arm. Hit or miss, kind of.
When I first started using it, I had some problems with it, but it's been fine.
It's been
lately,
better. So
there's no lint.
I am
It's nice.
speaking only from a domestic machine standpoint, and I am not even talking about my HD9, which we will get into in a minute here. Everything that I'm talking about relates to all of you, because I know that all of you don't have a straight stitch machine like I do. This, a fast straight stitch only. So my HD9 is kind of an animal on its own. It's different. I'm talking about your domestic machine. So everything I'm about to tell you applies to all of you, whether you have a Janome, a Brother, a Baby Lock, whatever. I forgot the names of machines. I couldn't remember any of them. Husqvarna. Pfaff.
And I apologize for my failure to test thread for you.
Yes, that's
on
okay.
my Pfaff and Husqvarna.
Barb is going to test thread. Don't worry.
I didn't have a needle big enough.
But that's okay.
Okay.
I forgive you.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. So let's talk basics first. When it comes to thread, your thread, the higher the number, the smaller the thread. And that always is, it's hard to remember because it's backwards. So if you have an 80 weight thread and you're doing hand applique, that's great. You don't want that in your machine. It's way too thin. So the way that I always remember, because it's the same with wire gauges, if I'm filling something, I used to make jewelry, remember that? Yeah. If I'm filling something, it's going to take, and I have 28, which is thick, it's going to take less, it's going to take 28 pieces to fill something. If I have 50 weight, it's going to take 50. So it's going to take more because they're smaller. So it's backwards, which is, I have to remind myself every time because I still can never remember. I'm like, wait, 54, okay. So I have used and still use 50 weight Aurifil. And I am not selling 50 weight Aurifil, and I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to get there in a minute. Had a little bit to do with the HD9, but had more to do with the bags in general. So I stock right now 40, and 28. And we're going to get into that in a few minutes. I want to kind of go through some of these notes that I left here that I wrote for myself and make sure that I'm not super crazy. What did I write? So in all of my thread trials, I tried Mettler, I tried Floriani, I tried Superior, I tried a brand from Amazon, I tried Wonderfil, and obviously Aurifil and Coats and Clark. I have tried them all out to see what I personally liked and what my machine liked. My machines in general, I did have the most problems when I used Coats and Clark. Most of the time I had no problem, which is why I kept convincing myself it was fine. When I had problems, I convinced myself that it was me. And I realized looking back now, it wasn't me, it was the thread. So Coats and Clark for me is a no. Again, if you use it and you have no issues and you enjoy using it, please don't be offended. It's just, for me, it's an absolute no. I have found that I started trying out some polyesters, and so I don't love polyester thread mostly because it's shiny. And I know that that's a weird reason, but I don't like shiny thread. I think that's why I avoided embroidery for so long, because they encourage you to use polyester, and polyester is shiny, and I don't want shiny monkeys and balloons and clowns on my stuff. So I didn't embroider for a long time. And then I found that Aurifil works really nice in embroidery, and I like the matte finish. That's a personal preference. So over the past probably month or so, actually probably longer than that, I have been trying out all of these different brands, and I brought a bunch of them with me so I can show you what I've been trying and what I like and what I don't like. So when it comes to piecing, so let's talk about quilting for a second here. When it comes to piecing your quilt tops and doing that kind of work, the reason I fell in love with the 50 weight Aurifil is because it just melts into the fabric. And I found that even though I thought I was using a comparable, cheaper thread in weight, my piecing actually got more accurate when I started using Aurifil because it's a 50 weight, but it's almost like a fine 50 weight, and it just melted right in. I didn't get these thick pieces of thread. I didn't have any issues with my seam allowance. Everything just started to look really amazing, which is why I fell in love with the 50 weight. It is pretty much my entire stash at home is 50 weight. So when I started really getting into bag making and making things with cork, I just used what I had, because why fix it if it's not broken? I used it in my embroidery machine. I used it for making bags. I used it for top stitching, and it's wonderful. And I will still use it. But I did lately start going towards the 40 weight. It's a little bit heavier. It's not super heavy. It's not really changing anything. You can interchange them in your machine. I haven't pieced a quilt with 40 weight. I would probably still stick with 50 just because I'd rather have that little bit of, a little bit more thinness. But the 40 weight is awesome for piecing your bags as well as top stitching. So that's why I decided to invest in that. Because it's a little bit thicker, it gives you a little bit nicer top stitching, and it's also going to hold your bag and, keep it together longer, make it, the seam stronger. It's just a better thread. So is 50 weight good? Absolutely. Still love it. Is 40 weight better? Absolutely. So 50 is good, 40 is better. So that's why I went towards the 40. And that was my decision making. When you're using the 40 weight and the 50 weight, you can use them in the top and the bobbin. There's no issue with that. I have tested it in both of my machines. I've done testing in, the HD9 and the regular machine. No issues at all. You can also use the 40 weight in the bobbin with the 28 weight. And why did I use 28 weight, and why do I have 28 weight? So this actually started because of the HD9. The HD9, I was having issues with the thread breaking. And I did not know why, because I was threading it correctly, I cleaned it, I oiled it. Why is it that if I go too fast, my thread is breaking? And I took it to our local dealer, and he said to me, the problem is Aurifil thread, which that just broke my heart and then also made me angry at the same time. I was like, excuse me? And he said, these fast machines don't like cotton thread as much as polyester, but they really don't like Aurifil. I'm like, I'm going to have to fight you on that one because I don't agree with you. But I said, okay, you're the expert. So I stopped using the Aurifil in my straight stitch machine, and I started using polyester. I never had a problem. And I was like, is he right? Do I have to not use Aurifil? Because Aurifil doesn't make polyester. What am I going to do? And then I went to that retreat that I went to a few weeks ago, and I brought with me my HD9, and I sewed all weekend with polyester thread, very begrudgingly, because I just don't love it. And then I thought to myself, I think at home I have some heavier weight Aurifil. I'm going to try it. And I put in a 40 weight spool, no problems. It like that. So I said, okay, this fast machine likes thicker threads. I wonder if it's going to like the 28. It loved it. And that's when I started really falling in love with the 28 weight. But since not all of you have a straight stitch machine, how can I sell it to you and tell you not to use it in your machine? So I took it to my 15,000 and I put it in the top and I put it in the bobbin, and it sewed beautifully. So I made this new Piper.
It's so pretty.
Thank you. I made this new Piper with canvas. So if you guys are interested, I will kit this up for you. I have this canvas in stock and I ordered more today. And there's just a few little tweaks that you would make because normally this would be in cork. That's how the pattern's written. I did my handles, my cork handles, with 28 in the top and bobbin. And I will take some up close pictures because I know things don't always pick up on camera. It was fine. What I would recommend if you are going to use 28 weight thread, two things. Only top stitch with it. Do not use it for your piecing. You don't need anything that heavy unless you are making like a leather bag or something super, super thick and heavy. You don't need to piece with it. Only use your 28 for your top stitching. If you want to put it in the bobbin, go at a medium pace. I typically sew super, super fast. And on the HD9, that's fine. On your domestic, when you have something thick in the bottom and thick in the top, do some test pieces. You may have to adjust your tension. I did not. My Janome loved it. And that's why Barb's going to test it out because I'm going to make sure she has needles today to see if her machines are happy or not. But for me, Top and bobbin was totally fine with the thick thread. I did not have to personally make any tension adjustments. You might want to try it on a scrap of cork, see how it looks, see how it's going. Go slowly, because if anything happens, you don't want to be going at full speed and have any issues with your machine. Take it slow, see how it likes it. I top stitched my handles, no issues. The rest of the bag, I pieced and top stitched in 40 weight. So it has a little bit of a mix of both. I don't know, and again, I'll take pictures. I don't know if you'll be able to see the difference. This top stitching on the top is 28, it's 40 on the back, and all this top stitching is 40.
It actually shows up on...
It shows, does it? I mean, so I'm in love. I love both of them. And so I'm going to start stocking both of them. That is, you know, it all started with the HD9, and then I kind of said, well, if I'm going to do this, we all have different machines. Let's see. So I have some other machines. Barb has machines. We're going to do some more testing and let you know if, you know, yes, it worked, but I had to do this, or this machine was really unhappy. But if you are unsure, you can always put 40 weight in your bobbin and 28 on the top. Make sure that you use a 90-14 needle if you are using 28 weight. If you use a smaller needle, it's possible it will shred or it will break. So just make sure you're using that larger needle. Did you have a question?
Well, no, I was just going to say, because we have a Baby Lock, a Husqvarna, and a Pfaff that we can test it on.
Perfect.
I think we have a few machines. Huh?
I think so.
Actually, if I can get a hold of my neighbor, she's got a Bernina.
There we go. So we're gonna do some testing for you guys. So that is what I have found on both of my machines. And I talked about
Marlene
this.
has a Bernina. We can have Marlene try it.
There we go. So we're going to try some things out. These, again, are my findings, and I stand by my Janomis. I'm very happy with them. I don't have, you know, I never really have a lot of issues trying out different things with them. The only thing I had an issue with was trying out a 12 weight. So if 28 is heavy, 12 is super heavy, because I was told it would be fine, and for stitching it was fine, for embroidery it was not, and the person that told me it would embroider fine, it did not. So I'm just saying. So one other thing, off topic of this, but still thread, never, ever, under any circumstances, ever, promise me you never, ever will, do not put hand quilting thread in your machine. Ever. I'm saying that because there might be one person in the universe watching this video that's like, oh, how come? You probably all know, but hand quilting thread is waxed most of the time. Don't put that in your machine. You will ruin things inside your machine that you may not ever be able to fix. And I'm not telling the guy that fixes your machine what you did. You have to tell him. So don't use that. So let me just see here. And every machine company is going to disagree with me, but I don't care. Not all machines like all thread, and we all know that because we've all learned that. I had another brand of machines that I could not, for the life of me, get to work with the monofilament thread. It hated it. I followed every YouTube tutorial. I called people. I did everything. It hated it. I have another machine. It's fine.
Yeah.
So not every machine likes every thread. That is unfortunately just the way that it is. But again, I bet you haven't cleaned your machine as recently as you think. Do that today. Change your needle and, you know, try out some different things and maybe give Aurifil a try. I want to be your thread source. As we all know, I'm not going anywhere, and I am enjoying bringing in different things. Nancy had emailed me a couple weeks ago and asked if I would ever consider talking about thread. She didn't know I was already in the process of getting some thread in and doing this. So try some things out and indulge and treat yourself. These spools, this spool of Aurifil is $13.50. I know that's a lot of money. I understand that it's hard to justify that versus your $5 and $6 threads. There is, what's this one? 1,016, I don't remember how many yards are on this. I have still to this day only finished one of these spools.
What weight is that one?
This one is the 28. 28 is gray. Because there's so much thread on these spools, it's insane. It will take you a long time to go through them. So let's talk about if you do have machine issues. Again, it's usually because of your needle or your thread. So make sure you're threaded correctly, check that you're in your tension disc, change your needle, see if you need to adjust anything when you're trying out a new thread, and don't jump right into a project. Try a scrap first.
Somebody's got a question. What about serger thread?
I cannot answer that. I don't own a serger, and I don't want to give you incorrect information. If somebody knows and wants to comment on that, by all means, I am not going to comment on that.
I've never used
If
it,
a thread, here's my opinion, my assumption. If a thread is meant for a machine, it should work in a machine. It may not be appropriate for that machine, but the reason with hand quilting is never meant to go through a machine. And with the wax that's on it, it can get into your gears, into your tension disc, it can break your needle, it can get in your bobbin case. That is not made for a machine. If a thread is made for a machine, it should work in multiple machines, but I can't say for sure because I don't know anything about sergers and serger thread. So I'm gonna step out of that conversation, and if you guys want to talk about it, by all means, I'll let you guys discuss with each other. So why do I like cotton and why do I like polyester? I learned a long time ago, and you know how you learn things or you hear things and they get stuck in your head, whether it's true or not. I was always told from the beginning of quilting, your fabric is cotton, your thread should be cotton. And it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. So that is what I have always stuck with. Cotton with cotton, it made sense in my brain. I don't have cork thread. I can only imagine if they made cork thread, it'd be nice and strong. That would be a crazy thing. But that's not a thing. So if I'm making a bag, should I use cotton or should I use polyester? I don't know which one to use. And I'm going to say you can use either, because polyester is stronger than cotton because it is a synthetic fiber, and the way that it's made, it does shed a lot less. You get minimal or no lint, but it has a little bit of a stretch to it in a different way than cotton does. There's nothing wrong with polyester thread. As of today, and we know I change my mind a lot, I will not be carrying any polyester thread. Will I in the future? Who knows? But as of today, I am sticking with my favorite. And we're getting to why, and we're going to get to all the thread. I've got piles of it right here. So I've always used cotton. Again, I don't like polyester because it's shiny. On a bag, it's not as noticeable, but I notice it, and I just don't love it. And what I did find is that I went through so much.
A quick question?
Yeah.
Somebody wants to know how you find the weight. She has Gutermann and can't find the weight on it.
Okay, do I have a Gutermann here? I don't, but most of your threads, so like on an Aurifil, on the bottom it says 40, and it says 40/2. The 2 has to do with the staple, don't worry about it. It says 40 on the bottom. On these little Aurifils, it's also on the bottom. This is a Floriani, and this one doesn't say.
Some of them don't say.
Some of them don't. This is a Floriani. It does not say on here. This is cheapo. Oh no, this is Wonderfil. Wonderfil, it says. So they should say it on there. Gutermann,
I can't remember.
I think, because Gutermann is similar in shape to Mettler. It should be on the sticker, or it might be printed on this side. And if you can't find it, if there's a number, like this one has 0853, you might be able to Google that and like put in Gutermann and the number and see what it is. It should be on your spool. But as we just found out, Floriani does not have it on there, and it's not printed anywhere. So most of them have it. Some of them apparently do not.
I have one that I want you to try.
Oh, cool. I love trying stuff.
I'm going to bring you some Glide thread.
Oh, yeah. Is that superior?
Nope.
No.
It's on Habendash.
Yes. And they make the Filtech, the bobbins. Is that
the pre-wound bobbins?
Yes,
and
I
everything?
love pre-wound bobbins,
Oh my
by
God,
the way.
they're awesome.
I love pre-wound bobbins. I don't know what it is that they do to that bobbin, but they get more thread on it. And if I'm quilting,
Exactly.
or if I'm piecing a bunch of bags and I'm not at the top stitching part, I love using pre-wound bobbins because I don't have to think. It's already done. I don't have to stop. It's perfect.
And
so
not all their thread is shiny.
no, it is not. And we're going to talk about we're going to talk about my shiny issues in a minute here. So, thread that I like. I do like Mettler. That is the polyester that I have liked the most. I do like Gutermann. I think Gutermann is a good thread. Gutermann can be found at box stores and quilt shops. So, you know, I think it's an easier one to find. And if you are going to shop at a box store, if you don't have a quilt shop local, or if you're not ordering online, because I know it's hard to pick colors online, and I did something exciting with the colors. We'll get there in a second. If you're going to shop at a box store, I would go with the Gutermann above the Coates and Clark. That's just my opinion. I've used Gutermann. It's fine. I like those. Aurifil is still my favorite. It's just something about Aurifil, and it's a weird thing with the Aurifil colors that sometimes you look at it and you're like, that's a weird color, it's not going to match, and it matches. And I don't know what it is. It's this weird Italian magic that they do. I don't know how, but you look at a color. I had a blue one day.
Alex.
And it's Alex Veronelli. I had a blue cork one day and I couldn't find anything to match, and I grabbed a green thread and it matched, and I was like, that doesn't make any sense, but it did. So those are the ones that I like. Again, I've said this, you pay for what you get. You guys know that. Remember the cork conversation? Remember when I ripped the cork in half? You pay for what you get. You buy cheap thread, you get cheap results. And you guys buy good material and good stuff. You deserve to have the best stuff holding it together. So that's what I have to tell you there. I just want to make sure I get through all my notes before we get into the really fun stuff here. Yes, and the lint and the colors. Okay, so let's talk about things I tried, and then let's talk about things I'm going to carry. So I tried, because of that conversation about my HD9, I tried a bunch of polyester threads out. And I must have forgotten the one. I also have the cheap Amazon thread, which I don't remember what the name was. Cheap. Cones bigger than this. 3 of them for like $14. Okay, so I was like,
That's good
okay,
stuff.
let's try. So let's just start here because it's in my hand. This is Wonderfil. I hate having this conversation because I know the person that owns Wonderfil, and she's adorable, and I just love her to pieces, and her daughters are wonderful, and I love part of their collection. I don't love all of it. This is not bad. This is the Wonderfil. This is the Master Quilter. This, I believe, is more meant for long arming, but it was the only thing that I could find because COVID. So I have 3,000 yards of beige. It's a good thread. I liked it. I will be piecing for the rest of my life with this. It's a good thread. It's not super, super shiny, so I can live with it. I do like it. What I don't love on the Wonderfil scope is some of their cottons. I have found that, again, not all machines like all threads. My Genomes didn't love some of the Wonderfil threads. Some were okay, some were not. So for me personally, I'm kind of on the fence with Wonderfil. If you do any handwork, they're... we just got it at Log Cabin. They have some flosses, and they have some pearl cottons. They're pretty awesome. Their spaghetti collection, which I think is their 12 weight, is a really cool thread. And they have some other things that are really great. Some of their regular piecing threads I personally had issues with. So when it comes to polyester, this one was not bad. I liked it. It was a decent price. This is a 40 weight. It's a lot. I will have this for the rest of my life. So this one was pretty good. Floriani, the thread is not bad, but this is way too shiny for me. I just don't like it. And Floriani specializes in stabilizers and things for embroidery, and people like shiny embroidery, and I don't. And it doesn't matter what I think. If you like it, good for you. I don't. So it's a nice thread. It worked well. I think it was a 40 weight, but again, it's not written on here for some odd reason. Oh, there we go. I'm breaking things. That's where you open your thread. I don't know if you guys all knew that, but most of your thread, you can take the bottom off to open it. So that's always a topic I see on quilting groups. How do you get the thread out? How do you find the end? So Floriani, for me, the thread is good. It's a personal thing. I don't like it because it's shiny. So that was a no for me on the polyester. The ones I did like were the Mettler ones, and I got this little box. I don't remember where I got this. I might have gotten this from a show because a lot of times they give me free things, so that's why I got to try stuff out. This is a poly. I think this is a 40 weight. I didn't even open this one yet. Oh, I did. Here we go. I think it's a 40 weight. And I like this because their thread is not super duper shiny. What I don't like about their thread, yes, it's a 40. The spools are really small. This is 220 yards, but it's really, really, I ran out so quick on this one. This is like a great neutral color for cork, and I was doing a lot of top stitching at the retreat with browns and neutrals. I ran out of this in a day. So this one for me, that's the issue with the small spools. is that you are going to go through them quicker. But I got this little box somewhere with all the rainbow colors so I could try them all out. My machine liked this one. Both machines have used it, and it's not a super shiny polyester, so I like this one. So if I'm going to use polyester, if I have a reason why, I'm going to stick with Mettler. That was the one that I liked. The Amazon cheapy thread that I used was not horrible. My machine was happy. It was cheap though, so I'm cautious and leery of it because it's so cheap. I am always a little bit unnerved by something that's that inexpensive. Is it gonna hold up over a lifetime? So for me, polyester, I like Mettler. Does that mean someday I'll carry Mettler? Who knows? I don't know. I can't answer these questions. But for right now, we're gonna stick with cotton. So I brought my Aurifil here. And what I also did, and again, Barb said it might show up on camera because you saw some of the stuff.
Yeah.
I will also take pictures. This one right here, I did the same strap and I used a purple thread so you'd see the contrast. This is 28 weight, top and bobbin. And this one I did in the 40 weight. So you can see that there is a difference. On camera, you might not see it, but I think there's a considerable difference. 40 weight looks great on top stitching, so does 28. So I'm going to take a picture of that so I can see, show you side by side on those, just so that you can see how that looks.
You can kind of tell.
You can kind of tell?
Yeah.
The pictures will be better. So when it comes to Aurifil, your orange spools are your 50 weight. So these are the ones that I own, but I will not be selling on the website. This is the weight that I like for my piecing, for my quilting.
For piecing.
And both of the boxes of thread that I designed for Aurifil are also that same weight. So, because it just makes sense for piecing, and you can use this on bags and you can use it on top stitching. But if you're gonna use it, why not, for the same exact price, step it up one notch and just go to a little bit thicker. There's so much thread in these things, so much. So these, Aurifil is made in Italy. That is why right now, we are a little bit limited on what we have in stock and what we're getting. I have more on order from 2 different companies. I am just waiting to get it in. I am going to expand this collection. And I also want some of your feedback as far as colors and sizes. And I'm going to show you what we have if you haven't looked on the website. So if you see orange, that is your 50 weight. What you're going to see on my website is green, which is the 40 weight, and gray, which is the 28. So this is what I used on those handles. They were the closest I had in colors because I now have a nice collection of these as well. So I can try them out for you. And what I have ordered, because again, things are weird right now with trying to import things and trying to get things. I have a distributor order that it's all out of stock, but if you order it when it comes in, you'll get it whenever that is. And I also have a smaller company who's actually on the East Coast, who's an Aurifil distributor. She has a big order of mine put in and we're just waiting. I don't know if it's going to be weeks or months. I'm hoping more week, I don't know. So what we have on the website right now is a limited selection. But what I did is I ordered the small spools, even though, yes, they are small, but the Aurifil small spools I still think last longer than a lot of the other ones. I ordered the 40 weight in the small spool, and this is my reason. Number one, I wanted to get more colors so you could have, some different options. But also, I wanted you, if you've never tried Aurifil, to try it and fall in love with it for $5.35. I'm guessing, I can't remember, versus $13.50. I wanted you to try a couple colors. Try them out if you've never tried Aurifil and see if you like them. I will get the 40 weight in the bigger spools when I can and as demand calls for it, because this 40 weight you can use again to piece and top stitch. The 28 weight I only have in a limited number of colors, and I'm probably only going to have it in a limited number of colors because this is only for top stitching. And I know we all top stitch in different colors because we make things in different colors. So I have all of your neutrals, and that's where I'm going to stick for now. And if I am able to swap and get bigger 40 and smaller 28, I will do so because you have less options with this. It's just, I can only do what I can do right now. So on the website, there's a bunch of colors. And what I did is I went through each of these spools and I color matched them to our cork. So this one, for instance, is called Lagoon. I am not using the Aurifil names. So don't try to look somewhere else and say, well, that's not what they call it. These are not the Aurifil names. These are the Jessica names. Because I can tell you that this is an exact match for
Lagoon.
Lagoon.
Woohoo!
So if you are like, I'm using the crimson cork, I have crimson thread. Now I also have something like this, which is called light olive. We don't have a light olive cork.
But we have olive.
Because it's not an exact match. But if you click on the info box, down on the bottom, it will say our suggested matches. This one works nicely on olive. It also works on cocoa because sometimes colors are weird. So if it is called light olive or mint and it doesn't coordinate with the cork name, I still tell you things it works nicely on. If it's called lagoon or crimson or pearl gray, it matches exactly with that cork. And again, I went through my Aurifil card. I sat in my house one night with every color of cork, matching it and matching it and matching it. And I have a huge order that I'm hoping will come in sooner rather than later of colors that match all the cork so that you have all the work done for you because I am here for you. So that is what I have been doing is matching colors. So
Somebody did ask if you've ever tried Superior threads.
I wrote it down, which means I must own it. It's not here.
If you want to try King Tut, I have a ton.
But I will
of it.
try some because what are you long arm with? That?
Actually, I lean towards Glide now because
Okay.
I love the pre-wound bobbins and it just quilts really nice and it's got a little sheen to it. Not real shiny, but it's pretty.
can do a
Everybody
little
likes
sheen.
it. Yeah.
I'm weird like that. I
But I
like
got-
certain things blingy and other things no.
But King Tut I used a lot too. I just don't use it as much because I'm lazy and don't want to wind bobbins.
I understand. And see, and yes, there is obviously a big difference between my domestic machine and
Yeah.
Barb's long arm, but I equate her long arm closer to like my HD9 where they're high speed machines.
Yeah.
They need the strength, where our domestic machines, they need strength, but not as much. And we want the strength in our bags and in our projects, but we also need to make sure that it's not going to be a struggle on the machine. And before I switched to the heavier weight and the polyester on the HD9, it was so frustrating because I'd stitch and stitch and stitch, break. Stitch again, break. And I was like, it's got to be me. It's got to be me. And then I find out, no, it doesn't like that particular thread. Why does it like the 40 and the 28? It just does. It likes a heavier cotton or a polyester. It didn't like the 50 weight. So I still get to use my 50 weight, just not all the time. And one of the other projects, I posted this a while ago, well, not too long ago, was this little leading lady. Trish had emailed me and said, can you make the leading lady out of cork? And I said, that's a good question. Let me find out. I know you could piece it, but you could make it plain. Could you do the pleats? And absolutely. So if you ask me for things, sometimes I'll do them for you. A lot of times I do. Sometimes, not all the time. Don't get too excited. No. But I also, what I wanted to do when I was making this was test out this little box here, which is my friend Tammy. She designs batiks for Island Batik, and she had this pretty thread box of 28 weight that she sent to me. Get out. No, you can't have everything. She's so mean and selfish.
Rainbow. I love rainbows.
I know, isn't it pretty? But she said, do you want to do something with this, anything you want, and test out the 28 weight? And that was what kind of sparked, I was like,
That's pretty.
can I put this in the machine, or am I going to do something by hand with it? Like do like a double strand and hand stitch. And I was like, wait a minute. I bet you I could put this in my machine. And that was the colors I used on here. So I tried this out for Trish, and then I also got to use Tammy's thread. So that was fun. And this one, I think this bobbin thread is one of the pre-wounds, which is usually 50 weight, but I don't care because you can't see it. So why bother?
Yeah.
And I just wanted to try out the 28 weight on the domestic, and it sewed really nicely. I like that it's kind of thick and beefy because I love the look of leather bags when they have that big stitching or like on a belt. I love that. And in order to get that with regular cotton thread, you have to do like a triple stitch, or you have to kind of change up your stitches. You could use the thread and make it into a really cool look. So I think that
looks really nice.
I think that's our thread talk. Did that answer all of your questions? I hope so. I'm going to let Barb scroll for a second, see if there's any questions.
Nope. Everybody's loving it. Loving it.
Okay.
Loving it.
Well, I hope that answered your questions. We will continue to try out new things. Again, we will be getting more thread in, and as it comes in, I will upload it. One other thing I wanted to mention, not related to thread. I've mentioned before Log Cabin Quilts that I do their videos on Thursdays. We actually did our video this week on Tuesday, and if you're interested, it was actually a really cool concept that we came up with. Everybody made my pattern, my stacked pattern, which I don't have here. And we all made it and picked out whatever fabrics we wanted. And then we sat and talked about how different the project can look with different fabrics, and also why we chose what we chose. So if you're interested in a conversation like that and kind of seeing how one pattern can look so different with your choices, and I also had 3 other samples of my own that I showed. You can check that out on their page. I think we're going to have all of ours quilted and bring them back. And next week we're going to talk about quilting. Like, why do we have things quilted? How do we choose who and what we have quilted? So if you're interested in that, I know some of you are quilters, some of you are strictly bag makers. I thought I would throw that out there. And I think that's
You
everything.
have to check that out though, because they're all so different.
They're all
Same
so
pattern.
so different, and
they
like,
look
you
so
know,
different.
Barb was like, "These are my favorites," and I was like, "But these are my favorites." And you know, you just look at them, and somebody said, because I posted pictures yesterday, I am glad this isn't a contest because I don't want to have to vote.
Yeah.
And so you know, there's different things, and mine is going to go to Barb when it's done, which I'm taking my time. I'm actually enjoying taking my time because it's for me, and I'm gonna let her have a blast quilting whatever she wants. I've already decided I want something custom, and I don't know anything more than that. But I made a background. I wanted to show off the quilting, where some of the other ones are busier and they have, you know, different fabrics. And it's just interesting to see how 4 people pick fabrics. And you made one of the quilts that I showed off. You made the Tula Pink quilt.
Yeah.
And quilted it. It's all for one. I was like, here, she made it, quilted it, and bound it. So I think that's everything. I am going to upload this kit, this new Piper kit, with some notes. And we have a question.
Does say
Charlie,
he
yes.
loves seeing how people choose their colors. He would love to see that in the context of bags too.
You know what? Fine. No. The only reason I have hesitated on doing that is because I feel like I don't have a lot to say about it. I just kind of do it when it comes to bags, because quilts are so many more fabrics. But Charlie, you are not the first person to ask. I will do it. Maybe I'll see if I can work it in next week. Maybe it'll be a little bit later. I don't know. Maybe I'll have insight that I don't realize I have, and you guys will enjoy it. And also, before we leave, Nancy Casso posted, excuse me. I'm good.
No choking.
I gotcha. Nancy Casso posted something in the group. And of course, it's probably because I'm super emotional this week. Anyway, I cried a little bit. But I cry a lot. It's just me. Just this beautiful post about how, you know, just thanking me for doing what I'm doing and the videos, and, you know, just giving you my knowledge. And thank you guys. I mean, honestly, I'm glad that you listen to me ramble an hour every week. Honestly, thank you for all of your support in every way. Just watching a video is support. Every time you buy something off of our website, you're keeping Barb and Marlene busy, you're supporting my small business. Everything that you do in a positive aspect is support. And when you're negative, I just ignore you. But because
That's true.
We don't mean to be mean. Stop being mean. But thank you. And Nancy, that was such a sweet post, and it really touched my heart. It really was just so nice. And I do this because you guys enjoy it and you keep watching, and I don't want to leave. I want to be here every Friday. I look forward to Fridays so much. And I look forward to Thursdays being at Log Cabin because I get my bag break. I get to talk about quilting stuff. So if you're a quilter, watch those videos. We're fun. We entertain ourselves. The Thursday before Halloween, we will be dressed up. It will be fun. But from the bottom of my heart, thank you to all of you. You are keeping me happy. You are keeping us busy, and I don't have any plans on not doing this. You're going to see me on every Friday for the rest of my life.
Whether you like it or not.
You like it or not. I'm even like, should I take Christmas off? No, I'm just kidding. I will not be posting on Christmas.
Christmas on Friday?
Christmas is on a Friday.
Oh, dear.
The nerve of people. Christmas should be on a Saturday. But yeah, I'm loving this. So keep your suggestions coming. Ask me questions if you need stuff, and keep the positivity going in the group, and just keep being you. You guys are awesome. So I'm going to call it a day. If I get any more questions, I'll answer you guys. And if we have any more information for you, we are always happy to share. Barb's going to go try out some thread this weekend. And she's going to report back next week. So I'll give you guys an update. Next week, Judy, just for you and anybody else that's interested, I will do the strap ends, the strap keepers, and we'll talk a little bit more about the jewels and the icicles, because we also have rivets now. So there's other ways we can use things.
Yes, we do.
So I'm going to wrap it up. That's it. Are we
Sounds good.
good?
Sounds
All right.
good.
Finish her up, Barb.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, you guys. Thank you. And I will see you tomorrow for another drawing, but I'll see you Friday for a video. Have a good weekend.